There are songs that entertain you. There are songs that move you. And then there are songs that feel like they were conjured from somewhere beyond ordinary human experience. Kashmir by Led Zeppelin is in that third category. Released in 1975, it has been called the greatest rock song ever recorded. Not by fans, by the band themselves. Jimmy Page said it was the song he was most proud of in Led Zeppelin's entire catalog. Robert Plant said he wanted it played at his funeral. So what makes a song reach that level? Today, we're going to find out. The story of Kashmir begins not in the recording studio, but on a long desert road in southern Morocco in 1973. Robert Plant and Jimmy Page were traveling through a remote stretch of the Sahara. Vast, empty, almost alien landscape. When Plant felt something shift inside him, he described it later as feeling like the world had no edges, like time had stopped. He started scribbling lyrics on whatever paper he could find. Meanwhile, back in England, John Bonham had been working on a drum pattern that didn't fit anything the band had tried. It was a relentless, hypnotic figure in a shell with a strange time signature. Not quite like anything in rock music. When Page heard it, something clicked. He began building a guitar riff on top of it, not in a standard tuning, but in an open tuning he'd been experimenting with, which gave the whole thing that massive, droning, almost orchestral quality. The two ideas, Plant's desert experience and Page and Bonham's riff, were meant for each other. They just needed time to find each other. Kashmir was recorded at Headley Grange, the crumbling old mansion in Hampshire that Led Zeppelin used as a residential recording space. The band had cut some of their most celebrated work there, including When the Levee Breaks, whose famous drum sound came from Bonham playing in the hallway of that house. For Kashmir, the band brought in a string and brass arrangement written by John Paul Jones, who is often the quiet genius behind Led Zeppelin's most ambitious moments. Those orchestral parts transformed what was already a powerful guitar track into something genuinely cinematic, something that felt bigger than rock music. The recording took time to get right. The layering of the orchestra over the rhythm section, the way Plant's vocal had to sit above all of it without getting swallowed, these were complex problems. But when they solved it, what came out of the speakers was unlike anything anyone had heard before. Engineer Keith Harwood later said the playback in the studio made the hair stand up on the back of his neck. Plant's lyrics for Kashmir are deliberately mysterious and deliberately grand. He drew on his Moroccan journey, but also on a wider sense of searching, of traveling towards something mysterious keeps receding into the distance. The song references the Silk Road, ancient trade routes, the feeling of moving through a world that is immense and unknown. Interestingly, the song is not actually about Kashmir, the region. Plant has said he'd never even been to Kashmir when he wrote it. The title came later, chosen because it captured the sense of somewhere distant and unreachable, a place that exists more in the imagination than on any map. The opening lines, "Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face, stars to fill my dream," set up that feeling immediately. You're not in a recording studio, you're somewhere ancient and enormous. That's deliberate. Plant wanted the listener to feel transported before the first verse was even finished. When Physical Graffiti was released in February 1975, the double album that Kashmir opened side 4 of, the response was immediate and overwhelming. The album went to number 1 in both the UK and the United States within days. Critics who had spent years dismissing Led Zeppelin as a loud blues rock band suddenly found themselves searching for new language to describe what they were hearing. Kashmir in particular drew comparisons not to other rock songs, but to classical compositions, to film scores, to the kind of music that fills enormous spaces. Some reviewers didn't quite know what to do with it. It was too long, too strange, too ambitious for easy categorization, which of course meant it was exactly right. Live, the song became the centerpiece of Led Zeppelin's concerts. When those opening notes hit a stadium, something happened to the crowd that was different from the reaction to any other song. People describe feeling it physically, in their chest, in their bones. Kashmir has never gone away. In the decades since its release, it has been sampled, covered, referenced, and reimagined by artists across almost every genre. Puff Daddy famously sampled it for Come With Me in 1998, introducing the song to an entirely new generation. A.R. Rahman used elements of it in his work. It has appeared in films, in adverts, in the background of cultural moments too numerous to count. But perhaps the most telling measure of its legacy is what the musicians who grew up hearing it say about it. Jack White has cited it as a foundational influence. Trent Reznor has talked about the way it changed his understanding of what rock music could be. Whole generations of guitarists learned open tunings because of that riff. Jimmy Page has said in interviews that when he plays Kashmir, he still feels what he felt the first time. That sense of something larger than himself moving through the riffs. For a song that is now over 50 years old, that is an extraordinary thing to be able to say. There are very few songs in the history of recorded music that feel genuinely timeless. Not just popular, not just well-made, but timeless. Songs that would sound right in any era, that carry something inside them that doesn't age. Kashmir is one of those songs. Robert Plant still wants it played at his funeral. Jimmy Page still calls it his greatest achievement. And somewhere right now, someone is hearing it for the first time. That opening riff hitting them the way it hit everyone else. And their relationship with music is changing permanently. That's what a great song does. And Kashmir is about as great as they get. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more stories behind the songs that shaped rock history. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Led Zeppelin track and why?